Order in the court.
I'm doing a verdict watch for Victoria Martens. This case happens in Albuquerque, New Mexico, August 23rd, 2016. I remember when I first heard about this case, I was really disgusted, sick to my stomach. And now we're in 2021, and if you look on the internet, you will see the story has completely changed from the original one. I'm going to go with the first story, what I heard. Michelle Martens, she was 35 at the time. She would proposition men on the dating site Plenty of Fish if they wanted to come over and have sex with her daughter. She specifically said she only propositioned one male co-worker, and they would come over and have sex with her then 9-year-old daughter. She said she did not charge. It wasn't child prostitution. She said she was sexually gratified by seeing strange men abuse her daughter. And she would give her daughter methamphetamines, meth, to relax her. Her daughter was 9 at the time. Now that August in 2016, Victoria lived with her mother and her little brother, but that day the little brother had went to go stay with his father. Thank goodness for that. Unfortunately, Victoria was left there with her mother and her mother's boyfriend, Fabian Gonzalez. He's 31. She met him on POF, Plenty of Fish is what I heard. And his cousin, Jessica Kelly, who's 31, she had just gotten out of jail 7 days prior to this horrific thing that had happened there. She just got out of jail. So she came over there to stay with them too. Like I said, many theories about this case, but the one I heard, it was the day after Victoria's birthday. The cousins, Kelly and Gonzalez, gave her alcohol, which the mother allowed. Gonzalez would then rape Victoria while Kelly held her down, and Michelle's over there getting her sexual gratification. But then it got a little worse because Kelly starts to stab little girl, and Gonzalez strangles her. And the mother watches this whole entire thing. After she's dead, the mother has sex with her boyfriend. Gonzalez had just finished raping and killing her daughter. Then they put her in the tub. They wrap her in a blanket, put her in the tub. They dismember her, and then they set her on fire. And that's the story that I heard in 2016. I'm not going to say the recent stuff I heard because it's even more morbid than what I just said. Then I heard stories that Fabian Gonzalez wasn't even there. You can actually look on YouTube. It's a video of Jessica Kelly jumping off of a balcony. She's pretty much leaving the scene, and she's saying, I got kids, I have kids. And she's talking to a cop, and she's really trying to leave, but her ankle is really injured from the fall. And the cop asks who's up there, and she says this name. She says El Buto. So for a while, they kept saying there's a fourth suspect, and he's the one that did this killing, dismembering, and they found another male's DNA on her. So he is also responsible for the rape. They kept saying it's a fourth person. It's a fourth person. And I guess they were meaning this El Puto. Now remember, this woman, that's her cousin up there that's allowing her to stay with his girlfriend after she just got out of jail. I'm not sure she's going to be so quick to throw a family under the bus. maybe El Puto's a made-up name, and that other DNA from another man was probably somebody that had slept with the little girl previously. That's just something that I'm thinking in my head as I'm talking about it now, being that this is something that Michelle Martens did. Maybe this is just a guy that came earlier and that had left. In 2019, plea deals were made. I'm not sure when Gonzalez plea is going to ever be made, but I do know that Martin and Kelly, they are testifying against him for the dismemberment. So I guess this El Puto is not going to be in court. He also was released, I think, earlier, and he violated probation because he was staying with another girlfriend that had kids, and he's not supposed to be around kids. So it's kind of bizarre that they let him out if he ever was released. This is what I'm reading only in articles, so you never know. You just never know. And I also heard he was also involved in an Amber Alert, so he's been doing a lot. If you're reading these articles, he's been doing a lot since 2016. But the one thing I do know 100% is that court dates are coming up for both Martin and Kelly. They did plea deals, no contest to child abuse, resulting in death. And they both pled to that, Martin and Kelly. So no one right now has been charged for the actual killing of Victoria. The grandparents of Victoria, John and Pat Martin, they had sued the Children Youth Services because they failed to investigate a claim that Victoria was being molested by one of her mother's boyfriends in March 2016. That was just 4 months before she would be brutally murdered. Victoria's autopsy report said she was manually strangled to death. She also was being sexually abused, but that was before this last rape. It was physical evidence that she had been raped that night, but no semen was found inside her. She had contracted HPV, human papillomavirus, which is sexually transmitted, and she had alcohol in her system that night, not meth. So I guess they gave her alcohol to relax her. And her body was dismembered after she was dead. And they said, being that it was also dismembered and burnt, it kind of made the autopsy a little bit more difficult than it would have been had that not happened. So Kelly, she will be sentenced on June 21st, and she's already currently serving 11 years on a separate drug charge. So she faces up to 50 years in prison. Now, the mother, Michelle Marten, I don't understand. She gets sentenced on July 9th, and she faces between 12 to 15 years in prison. That's it. Why is her sentence so light? And getting time served, if she gets 12 years with time served and she's already been in there for 5, she would do about maybe a little over 5 years and she would be out. Okay, so I guess there is not a 4th suspect by the name of El Puto. I would like to see the transcripts of the case when it's done to figure out really what happened, because you really don't know really what led. The baby was already being sexually abused, we know that. But why the strangulation? Why the dismemberment? Why all that after? I don't understand that part. And during the autopsy, I forgot to state, there were no stab wounds that I read on the first autopsy report. I blame Michelle Marten for everything. She knew exactly what she was doing. That little girl, she didn't appear to look like it, but she was really going through some hell in that house. And I really do hope Victoria. I hope she gets justice.